as part of getting used to notation, there's also being able to read the graphs as far as that f of x notation. In the homework, and they're going to give you a graph that looks like this. It's going to be a piecewise function. It's going to be something they just toss up there on the Math Excel page. And then they ask you to find f of negative 9. And then they're going to have a box, and they're going to have to put a number in here. Remember that this represents the function when x is negative 9, right? This is trying to set up an ordered pair. Let's find that ordered pair. When x is negative 9, well, look on my x-axis. Come over here to when x is negative 9. We look at where that is on the graph. It happens to be down here. That's the ordered pair we're talking about. Well, when it's saying find the f of x, it's saying find the output. The output, my y value, is that 5. F of negative 9 is negative 5. A way to look at this, when x is negative 9, my y is negative 5. Remember, this is ordered pair, x negative 9, y negative 5. But look what's going on here is that is ordered pair, x negative 5. A lot of this notation is just getting used to reading it in that different notation format for a function. It's going to ask you to find f of 3. These are completely unrelated. Other than that, this is the same f function. When it tells you to find f of 3, well, now it's telling you my x is 3. Come over to here to where x is 3, and there it is. Go up here. Oh, should have written that in. 4. And again, these will all be written for you. You're just going to be reading straight off a grid, straight off of that Math Excel, and it's going to be a lot prettier than my handwriting. When x is 3, my y value is 4. And if you look at this, ordered pair 3, 4. Now, it doesn't even need to necessarily be a point that's sitting there labeled on my axis. Find f of negative 2. That's saying my x is negative 2, even though it's not one of them like a negative 9 and a 3 that we see. I go to where x is negative 2 and come up here, and there it is. It's at 4 also. Negative 2, 4. You just look at where my x value is and where it is on the graph. Now, the exact opposite direction, it's going to ask you, what is x when, and they're going to say f of x equals negative 8. And when they're saying f of x equals negative 8, well, remember, f of x is y. So they're saying when y equals negative 8. Well, on our y-axis, come down here to where it's negative 8. Come over to where it is on the graph. Now, again, on my graph, it's kind of hard to read. On your graph, when you're looking at Math Excel, it'll be much easier to see. You're going to say, oh, well, it's a little bit less than 8. You're going to see it on the grid, and you're going to read on that box. It's going to be when x equals 7. It's just the exact opposite. Over here, they're going to give you the x value, say find your y. Over here, they're giving you your y value, find your x. And remember, too, this is still ordered pair, 7, negative 8. X is 7, y is negative 8. They're going to ask you, what about when f of x equals negative 4? This one's a bit more interesting because when you come over to where y is negative 4, somewhere about there, and again, you're going to be reading this on a grid when you see it in the homework. You're going to come over to the 4. You're going to come up, but you're going to notice it actually goes both directions. And that's totally fine. This means I'm going to have two different values. One of them over here, whatever the number happens to be, let's say 6, it really doesn't even matter. Over here, it's going to be a negative 8. You're going to have two values. X is going to equal, and remember Math Excel, you're going to have that box. And if you notice in blue writing at the end of every problem when it says separate your answers with commas, what you're going to say is negative 8, comma, 6. And it won't matter what order you put those in. You could put those 6, negative 8. You're still going to be correct. The one thing we don't want to do is put this in parentheses. There have been times when we use the comma in parentheses. That's when you're trying to label an ordered pair. Negative 8, 6 is not an ordered pair. Negative 4, negative 8 is an ordered pair. Negative 4, 6 is an ordered pair. You're listing each of those ordered pairs individually, and that's what this is saying is one of them's at negative 8, one of them's at 6. Those are my two answers.